This is the tiny house I built about 8 years ago. It has a rack on the front. I had a motorcycle on there. It has a bicycle in this photo. It had a Ford Ranger base on it. It comes apart in pieces. I can take it apart, move it around. I have it on a different trailer base, which I did a couple of years back. I changed trailer bases so it was a little more stable. I want to talk about the physics when you tow a tiny house, what it's going to do on the trailer and how you want to keep it stable when you drive, because they're kind of heavy, they're awkward. So this is about the tiny house, it's about the build, it's about what I plan to do with it. I'm still working on the boat, it's coming out great. There's a couple clips coming up about the boat. That's my main focus, but I wanted to talk about this tiny house. I did this years ago, and I think it's kind of interesting. People are kind of on the tiny house thing right now, so might as well talk about the tiny little house there. All right, there is the initial plywood construction, framing in the back to make that dome shape, and I've got 2 windows. One broke actually, it fell out and broke, but I have 1 window in there, they were recycled. Pulling the house out using leverage, I left a notch in the front so that I could fit a caster wheel underneath. And I have 2 caster wheels in the back, so I have 3 points of contact, and I'm slowly rolling this out using the front caster wheel to steer on this 2x6, I believe, or 2x4. And out of the garage. It took about a month to build. A month to build it in the garage, and it's out. Then I take it apart. It comes apart in, looks like 4 pieces there. I have the first bottom piece put in the truck bed, the other 2 sides. And then I went ahead and slid the top on. And there's me pushing the top on and resetting, making sure it's all contacting where it needs to, and there it is on the truck bed. Here goes my tiny house I built almost 10 years ago. It's been through 2 Category 4 hurricanes, direct hit up and down the East Coast twice. So looking pretty good. Had it covered with a tarp for a couple of years there. That's the home build right there. It's got the skylight in the top there. Let all the sunlight in. It's always good. Rolling this thing in the garage, I had to take the wheels off, rolling it on the spindles, down some boards into the garage. Let's see how it goes. Oh yeah, there it is. I wanted to show you the inside of it. That leaked. I didn't even seal that up, so I would expect that to leak a little bit. This skylight is really cool. That didn't leak at all. It's actually open now. I took the skylight off. I made it so it would come off. But that's it. It's modular. It comes apart. If I can show you here, there's a seam right along here. That's a seam. So if I lift this up, let's see, I'm lifting about 1/8 of the weight of the whole thing right now. Comes apart right there. So I figured if I made it modular, I could move it around myself, which I've done a few times, moved it on a couple different bases, but I'm about to take it off this base and renovate it and see what happens. There's the top of it. It's got a little gable roof and this little rounded back. It's pretty heavy, but it's not unreasonable to tow with a small SUV. And then I've got this skylight and this hatch over here. It's all reclaimed. I did buy some of the materials, but all in all, it's really inexpensive. It just takes time to build it. This is a little vent hatch I had. Some little weather stripping, but you definitely need ventilation in this kind of a unit. And the skylight does open. It has hinges, it has a handle on this side on the actual skylight. So it opens kind of like this. You're gonna need that ventilation big time, especially with a thinner insulation. I think what I'm going to do though is open this front part out and expand a bed so that you can sleep in the front, and the back will be, this will be kind of living area. I'll see what happens. I might raise it up 2 feet. We'll see. All right, welcome to my desk area. This is where the real magic happens. So my tiny house, I'm left-handed, so bear with me. A lot of haters out there, lefties. I feel ya. So here's my tiny house, has a little skylight right here. And I had a little windbreak in the front there, whatever you want to call it. So what you want is, mine is a single axle trailer. Here's the tongue right about here. And what you really want is, you want your weight right up front of the axle right here. That's where you want your weight to be. If it's behind this, the rear of the trailer will swing back and forth left to right. Super dangerous, because then it exponentially gets more and more as you roll down the road. So what you want to do is keep your weight just in front of this axle. Now mine has most of its weight up high, sort of in this quadrant right here. So I would move my tiny house back just a tad. It had a little bit too much weight on this tongue right here. That made it bounce up and down. So you don't want any bouncing up and down, and you don't want any sway in the back. So what I would do is try to keep most of the weight low and keep most of your weight pretty much over that center axle. You don't want to have your trailer do this either. Make that angle, because then it accentuates this up and down movement even more. Because if your weight is high, as it rocks back and forth this way, it goes up and down, and it's frustrating. So that's just a quick little, forgot the window. There's a window right there. Quick little bit about the tiny house. As I was doing all this, my little pigeon buddy, he's been living here with me for about almost 3 months, wintertime. He just flew out, but I'm glad he's gone because he needed to get out in nature, and it's good to get out. So back to the boat. I'm gonna tack it. There goes the tack.